Okay, welcome to the deep dive. And today we are diving deep into this show, The White Lotus.
Ooh, fun.
It started as a limited series,
Yeah.
but it's really become this fascinating anthology show.
Right.
And we've got a ton of material to look at.
Yeah, we're looking at how this show evolved
Yes.
from its beginnings all the way to this new season.
Right.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, the creator, Mike White,
Yes.
he uses these luxury resorts
Right.
as a way to examine these kind of uncomfortable truths about society.
Right.
You know, really sharp satire, dark humor.
Absolutely.
But it's also really captivating.
Absolutely.
And the characters are deeply flawed.
Yes, very much so.
And we've seen now 3 chapters of this show.
Yes.
Each one at a different White Lotus resort.
And they're always stunning, right?
Yes, visually stunning, but also troubled.
Troubled, yes.
We started in Hawaii.
Yes.
Then we went to Sicily.
That's right.
And now we're in Thailand.
We are the spiritual landscapes.
Yes. And it's interesting how it was originally.
Oh.
Just a limited series.
Right.
But then they decided to make it an anthology.
Because it was so popular.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it.
So our goal today is to really get under the skin of this show.
Yes.
Pull out those really interesting, most interesting insights and give you a clear understanding of its, impact and...
Yeah, and the themes.
Right.
What are the themes of the show?
Okay, let's start with season 1 in Hawaii.
Okay.
This premiered back in July of 2021, wrapped up in August.
Right.
6 episodes, all in Maui.
Beautiful.
Yeah, filmed at the Four Seasons Resort, Maui.
At Wailea.
Yes, and that tagline, paradise is no vacation.
It really sets the stage, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you think paradise, vacation, but no, not in this show.
Yeah, and the very first scene
Yes.
is so unsettling.
It is. It's jarring because it throws you right into the action.
Yeah, this flash forward of a body being loaded onto a plane.
Exactly. And you're immediately wondering, who is it?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yes.
How do we get here?
Right, and then we rewind a week,
Yes.
and we meet all these characters.
Right.
And of course, you can't forget Jennifer Coolidge as Tanya McQuoid.
Oh, she's iconic.
Yes, a grieving heiress who's looking for some solace.
Yeah, she's seeking something.
Yeah, and she forms this connection with Belinda.
Right, the spa manager.
Yes, played by Natasha Rothwell.
Yes, and the relationship is interesting because it's a little unbalanced. It's
Okay.
kind of intense. There's a power dynamic there.
Yes. And then we have Shane Patton,
Oh, Shane.
played by Jake Lacey.
Yes.
And he is so entitled.
Incredibly entitled.
Yeah, and he starts clashing with Armand.
It's a resort manager.
Yes, the resort manager, played by Murray Bartlett.
Amazing performance.
Yes, and the thing that really sets it all off
Yeah.
is that Shane thinks he's been given the wrong room.
Oh, the wrong room. Yes, and he just won't let it go.
Yes, and that really sets the stage for all of this tension.
It does. It's like that first domino.
Yes, and then his wife, Rachel, who's played by Alexandra Daddario,
Yeah.
who's a journalist.
A journalist who's married into this world of privilege,
Right.
and it's not quite what she expected.
Yeah, her newlywed bliss is totally falling
Yeah,
apart.
it's crumbling.
Yeah, and then there's the Mossbacker family.
Oh, the Mossbacker.
Yes, we have Nicole, the powerful executive.
Played by Connie Britton.
Yes.
So good.
And her husband, Mark, who's kind of dealing with his own insecurities.
Right, he's struggling a bit.
Their daughter, Olivia, who's super cynical.
Oh, very cynical.
And her brother, Quinn, who seems a bit more grounded.
Yeah, he's quieter,
Yeah.
more observant.
And then Olivia's friend, Paula,
Right.
who gets involved with a local worker.
Yes. And that brings in a whole other set of power dynamics.
Exactly.
Right, because you have the guests and the staff.
Right, and that really sets up the core themes
It does. You start to see those themes emerge.
of this whole season.
Right from the start.
Yeah, so Shane's demands on Armand
Yeah.
and Tanya's kind of transactional relationship with Belinda.
Yes, she's seeking emotional support, but
Right, and Paula's connection.
with the local worker.
Yes, it's all about these power struggles.
Absolutely. These simmering tensions beneath the surface.
Yeah, and it just keeps escalating.
Oh, it does.
Armand's fighting his own addiction issues.
Yeah.
And he's really pushed to the edge by Shane.
Yeah, Shane's constant neediness.
And Tanya's making all these promises to Belinda.
Which we know
Right.
she probably won't keep.
Yeah, and Paula's relationship leads to that robbery attempt.
Yeah, that goes wrong.
Yeah, and Rachel's starting to realize that she's married into this world that's...
A world of privilege.
Yeah.
That she doesn't really fit into.
Yeah.
Or maybe she doesn't want to.
Right, and it all explodes in that crazy climax.
Right. It's shocking and also kind of darkly funny.
Yeah, where Armand
Yeah.
takes revenge on Shane.
Yeah, in Shane's suitcase,
Right.
and then Shane accidentally stabs him.
Yes, and it turns out Armin is the one who's,
The body on the plane.
yeah, the body on the plane in the beginning.
Right.
And it's so strange how all the guests just kind of,
They leave.
yeah,
Like nothing happened.
their lives are basically untouched.
Right, it's like this bubble of privilege.
Yeah, so this really brings us to those main themes of the season.
Yeah, money and colonialism.
Yes.
How money distorts relationships.
Yeah, not just between the guests,
Right, but also between the guests and the staff.
and also how they interact with the Hawaiian setting itself.
Yes, it's this undercurrent of exploitation.
Yeah, like how Shane just keeps demanding a better room.
Right, he totally disregards Armand,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Armand is really trying to
Yeah.
manage this crazy situation.
But Shane just doesn't care.
Right, he's
Yeah.
blinded by his own entitlement.
Yeah. And it's interesting how Armin's spiral
Yes.
really shows us the cost of serving the wealthy.
Yeah, that constant pressure
Yeah.
to cater to their every whim.
And then Tanya and Shane,
Right.
their obliviousness and arrogance.
Yeah, it shows how privilege can be so corrosive.
Yes.
It makes them blind to the struggles of others.
The acting was just incredible.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Murray Bartlett's Emmy win was so deserved.
Oh, absolutely.
He was so good as Armand.
He brought this amazing mix of charm and resentment to the role.
Yeah.
It was really captivating.
And Jennifer Coolidge, she became an instant fan favorite.
She did.
And you can really see, even in this first season, that this is going to be a character that...
Yeah, that we're going to follow.
Yeah.
And that's going to evolve.
Connie Britton, she was so great as Nicole.
She was very believable as that powerful executive.
Yeah. And Jake Lacey as Shane.
Oh, he was perfect.
So perfectly cast.
You just love to hate him.
Yeah.
But also, there was something kind of sad about him, too.
Right. What do you think made those performances so impactful?
Well, I think it's the nuance they brought to these characters,
Right.
because they're not always likable, right?
Right.
But they managed to find these moments of humanity
Yes.
that made them feel real.
Yeah.
Like Bartlett, he made you feel for Armand.
Yeah.
Even though he was making some bad choices.
Right.
And Coolidge, she found the vulnerability beneath Tanya's eccentricities.
Yes.
And Lacey, he captured that oblivious arrogance so well.
It's amazing.
It was a great ensemble.
It's incredible to think this was all filmed during the pandemic.
It is, and they were basically confined to this one location.
Right, the resort.
Yeah, and it adds to that feeling of claustrophobia.
Yes, like something's going to explode.
Right, like the pressure cooker is about to burst.
Right, and the music, Cristobal Tapia de Veer's score, won an Emmy.
Yeah, that score is so unsettling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Those flutes and those vocalizations,
Yeah.
it just creates this constant unease.
Yeah, all this on a pretty small budget.
Right, less than $3 million per episode.
Yeah.
Which is amazing considering how great it looks.
And the critics loved it.
They did 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
82 out of 100 on Metacritic.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. It's a good score.
Yeah, and they praised the visuals.
Yeah, those stunning visuals.
The drama and the cast.
The performances were really what stood out,
Yeah.
but some critics felt that the social commentary
Yeah.
could have been a little bit sharper.
Right, but overall very positive.
Yeah, very positive.
Yeah.
And then the awards, they
Yeah.
really show the impact,
10 Emmys.
including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series.
Wow.
And Bartlett, Coolidge, and White all won for their work.
Yeah, so that set a high bar for season 2.
It did.
And then we go to Sicily.
Sicily.
Beautiful Sicily.
Yeah, with its ancient beauty and its history.
Premiered in late October 2022.
Yeah.
Ran for 7 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up in December.
Right.
This season was described as...
Like a bedroom farce with teeth.
Yes.
A little bit of a different vibe than season 1,
Yeah.
but still with that dark humor.
Yeah. And again, it starts with the body.
This time washing up on shore,
Yes.
and it hints that there might be multiple deaths,
Right.
which is even more unsettling.
Yeah. And then we see Tanya again.
Tanya's back,
Yes.
this time with her new husband, Greg,
Yes.
and her assistant, Portia.
Yes. Who quickly...
Gets entangled with a very interesting character.
Yeah. Jack,
Yes.
what did you think about Tanya's return?
I think it was inevitable. The
Yeah.
fans loved her,
Yeah.
but you could tell right away that something was off.
Yes. Especially with her relationship with Greg.
Right. It felt like there was trouble brewing.
Yeah. And then we meet the other couples.
The new set of guests.
Ethan and Harper Spiller.
A young couple who've recently become wealthy,
Yes.
and they're on vacation with another couple.
Karen and Daphne Sullivan.
A seemingly perfect couple.
Right.
but there are cracks beneath the surface,
Yes.
and they're all playing these games of infidelity. It's
Right.
very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's different from the couples in the first season.
Yeah, it's less about overt power imbalances
Uh,
and more about these subtle psychological games.
yes, they're very manipulative.
They are.
And then we have the DeGrasso family.
Oh, the DeGrassos.
Just the patriarch, Bert.
Yeah, with his wandering eye.
His son Dominic.
Who's also a bit of a philanderer.
And Albie,
Albie, the grandson.
who seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's trying to be good, but he gets caught up in
Yeah, and it's interesting how they represent...
different generations
And yes.
and their views on sex and masculinity,
Yeah.
especially in the context of Italian culture.
And then there are Lucia and Mia,
Oh, those two.
local sex workers.
Yes, they bring this unpredictable energy to the resort. They're smart, and they know how to use the guests' desires to their advantage.
Right, they're almost like a...
A force of nature, they
Yeah.
disrupt the status quo.
So the themes of this season really revolve around...
Sex, infidelity, and gender dynamics.
Yeah, and all against the backdrop of Sicily.
Which is so fitting.
Yes, this ancient and romantic setting.
Right. It mirrors the passions and betrayals of the characters.
And the Chia and Mia really highlight that.
They do. They show the transactional nature of relationships.
Yeah.
Especially when wealth and power are involved.
The acting was incredible again.
Oh, the cast was phenomenal.
Jennifer Coolidge won her second Emmy
Well deserved.
for playing Tanya.
She's just so good at balancing the humor and the vulnerability.
Yeah, and Aubrey Plaza and Theo James.
Oh, as Harper and Cameron.
Yes.
Their chemistry was electric.
Yeah, it could cut the tension with a knife.
Seriously.
And Simona Tabasco and Beatrice Grano as Lucia and Mia,
They're amazing.
they were breakout stars.
Absolutely.
They brought so much wit and resilience to their roles.
They did. And it's interesting because they weren't just there for the plot.
Right.
They were active participants in exposing the guests' flaws.
Yeah, they really drove the story forward.
They did, and I think that's what made them so compelling.
And this season felt bigger.
It did, more expansive.
Yeah, they really showcased the beauty of Taormina.
And the San Domenico Palace, that hotel was incredible.
Yeah, and the music evolved, too.
Yeah, Tapia de Vere incorporated some Italian influences into the score.
Yeah, but it still had that,
Unsettling edge.
yes, that signature sound.
Right, that keeps you on the edge of your seat.
And it's funny how Mike White said he got inspiration from,
A trip to Africa.
yeah, with Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, it's not what you'd expect.
No, but I guess being in that unfamiliar environment,
Right, maybe that inspired that feeling of being off-kilter.
yeah, like anything could happen.
Right, which is perfect for a show like this.
And the critical response was great again.
It was 94% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Wow,
81 on Metacritic.
that's amazing.
Very strong reviews.
Yeah, they loved the tighter plot.
Yes, the pacing was better.
And the bolder humor.
They really went for it with the comedy this season.
Yeah, but some critics missed that tension between the staff and the guests.
Right, because the focus shifted more to the relationships between the guests.
Right, but the themes of class and power were still there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just in a different way.
Especially through Lucia and Mia.
Hmm.
They really highlighted those dynamics.
And the awards kept coming,
They did 5 Emmys in 2023.
including one for Jennifer Coolidge again,
Of course.
and one for music composition.
Well deserved.
So this really proved that the White Lotus wasn't just a fluke.
Right, it had staying power.
Yeah, it had the potential to keep exploring different themes.
And different social dynamics.
Yeah, through this anthology format.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the present, or at least to March 20th, 2025, when our source material last looked at the show,
Okay.
and season 3, which takes place in
Thailand.
Thailand.
Beautiful, culturally rich.
Yeah, premiered in mid-February 2025.
Yeah.
8 episodes, the longest season so far.
The longest yet.
Yeah, with the finale expected in early April.
Exciting.
And the tagline for this season is, a spiritual respite that shivs the soul.
Ooh, that sounds ominous.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, like there's a darkness beneath the surface.
Yeah. What are your first impressions of this new setting and the themes they're exploring?
Well, the Thai setting immediately brings in this different cultural context, especially with the Buddhist influences and the focus on wellness and spirituality.
Yes.
And that tagline suggests that there's going to be this clash
Yeah.
between the guests' desire for enlightenment
Yeah.
and the reality of their situation.
Yeah. And true to form, the season starts.
With a body in the water.
Yeah, we see a body in the water again.
Right, that reminder of danger and mortality.
Yeah, and it's interesting, we see Belinda again.
Belinda's back.
Natasha Rothwell's character from season 1.
Yeah, which is exciting.
She's on a work exchange this time.
Right, which gives her a totally different perspective.
Yeah, how significant do you think her return is?
Well, I think it's important because she's not in a subordinate position anymore. She's more of an equal footing with the guests.
Yeah.
And she might be more critical of the resort and the guests this time around.
Yeah, and her history with Tanya adds another layer to it.
Absolutely. It brings in that past trauma.
Yeah, and then we see Greg again, too.
Oh, Greg, Tanya's widower.
Yes, with a new girlfriend.
A much younger girlfriend.
Yeah, Chloe.
And you can tell he's got some secrets.
Yeah, what do you think his return means for this season?
Well, it suggests that the past is not really gone.
Right.
That there are still loose ends from previous seasons.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder about his intention.
Yes.
Is he really over Tanya's death?
And then there's the Ratliff family.
A new set of guests?
Yeah, Timothy, the father, Victoria, the mother.
Right.
And their adult children, Saxon, Piper, and Lachlan.
And they seem to be a very dysfunctional family.
Yes, with a lot of secrets and resentments.
And some bad news from back home.
Yeah. What do you think about them compared to the other families we've seen?
They seem to have a different kind of dysfunction. It's less about outward chaos and more about these deep-seated issues like keeping up appearances and maintaining this perfect image.
And then there's the girls' trip trio.
3 friends on vacation together.
Yeah, Lori, the corporate lawyer.
A very driven woman.
Kate, the country club wife.
Who seems a bit more traditional.
And Jacqueline, the wild card.
Right. The one who stirs things up.
Yeah, their dynamic is already pretty explosive.
Oh, yeah. There are definitely some past hurts there.
Yeah, and then on the staff side, we have Gaitak, the security guard who's interested in Mook.
Right.
And Fabian, the resort manager who's trying to keep everything under control.
As always.
Yeah, the staff always provides such an interesting perspective.
They do. They see everything.
Yeah.
And they often highlight the absurdity of the guests' behavior.
Right.
They're the voice of reason.
As of episode 5, the season has been described as slower paced.
Yeah, a bit more measured.
Yeah, we still don't know Greg's true motives.
Right, he's still a mystery.
The Ratliffs are starting to unravel.
Yeah, they're going off the rails.
The trio's fighting more and more.
Their friendship is falling apart.
And then there's this threat of a tsunami.
Which feels very symbolic.
Yes, like a metaphor for the chaos that's building.
Exactly.
What do you think about this slower pace and the tsunami threat?
Well, I think the slower pace allows for a deeper exploration of the characters.
Right.
And the cultural nuances of Thailand.
Yeah, and the tsunami adds this element of
unpredictability.
Yes, like anything can happen.
And it forces the characters to confront their mortality.
Right.
Which is a big theme this season.
Yeah, death, spirituality, and the emptiness of wellness culture.
Right. It's like they're searching for meaning in this very superficial environment.
Yeah, and they're using all these dreams and portents.
Which adds to that darker tone.
Yes, and it's all set against this backdrop of
Buddhism.
Yes.
Which is so interesting.
Yeah, this clash between enlightenment and
reality.
Yeah, the cast is amazing again.
Oh, the casting is always spot on in this show.
Carrie Coon is fantastic as Lori.
She is. She's really captivating.
And Walton Goggins, who replaced Scott Glenn.
Yeah, he brings this intensity to the role.
Yeah, and then Lisa Manoble.
Lisa from Blackpink.
Yeah, this is her acting debut.
Yeah, she's great as Mook.
Yeah, and of course we have Natasha Rothwell back as Belinda.
She's wonderful.
Who are your favorites so far?
I'd say Carrie Coon is really standing out.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy to see Natasha Rothwell. She brings a sense of grounding to the show.
It's interesting that they chose to film in Thailand instead of Japan.
Right. Apparently there were tax incentives.
Yeah, and the wellness resort setting is perfect for satire.
Oh, absolutely. It's ripe for satire.
Yeah, it's like they're making fun of those digital detox retreats.
Yeah, and those curated spiritual experiences.
And the music, Tapia DeVere did it again.
He did. He incorporated Thai musical elements.
Yeah.
But it still has that signature unease.
Yeah, it's amazing how he adapts his music to each location.
He's very talented.
So critically, it's been well received.
It has 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but the Metacritic score is a bit lower.
77, which is still good.
Yeah, critics have said it's slower.
And a bit darker.
Yeah, and they praise the cast.
Especially Coon and Parker Posey.
But some have said it's a bit formulaic.
Right. Maybe not as groundbreaking as the first 2 seasons.
But there are rumors that it gets more wild in the later episodes.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
And in terms of awards?
It's too early to say.
Yeah.
But with that cast and those themes, it's definitely a contender.
So overall, The White Lotus has really redefined TV satire.
It has. It's visually stunning.
Yeah.
But it also has this sharp social critique.
And the anthology format is so clever.
It is. It keeps the show fresh
Yeah.
while still maintaining those connections between seasons.
And it's already been renewed for season 4.
Which is great news.
Yeah. And Mike White has hinted at some interesting locations.
Maybe Japan? Or even a political setting?
Yeah, that would be fascinating.
It would.
And the show's cultural impact is huge.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Tanya McCoy became a meme.
She did. She's iconic.
And it's ironic that a show that satirizes luxury tourism has actually led to more tourism at those locations.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. So as we wrap up our deep dive, we've looked at the premise of the White Lotus,
right?
The themes of each season, from money and colonialism in Hawaii, to sex and infidelity in Sicily,
right,
and death and spirituality in Thailand.
And we've seen how the show has evolved, and how it continues to resonate with audiences,
and the critical acclaim and the awards.
It's a very successful show.
It is,
and it makes you think.
Yeah. So as you continue watching, we want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
What do you think is the most corrosive influence
on these wealthy characters?
Yeah, and how do these exotic resort settings amplify those flaws?
It's something to ponder.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
It is.
Okay, thanks for joining us for the deep dive. We'll see you next time.